peace, only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We got a video for you today. We did a GT about 2 weeks ago. I'm actually recording the video now, so you guys can hopefully learn something, enjoy it before 10th edition comes out. So I do want to get these to you as soon as possible. So there's gonna be a lot of back-to-back videos coming up on the channel. So if you guys are new, appreciate you. Thanks for joining. All my Patreons, appreciate you guys too. We hit our goal of 250 a month. We're already up to 270. You guys are, again, fucking awesome. Wouldn't be able to do this without you. So if you guys do like the content, if you are new, go check out some of the other content. With videos like this, we do take overhead shots of the camera with the table and the terrain and everything set up, and I kind of go run through game by game on what I did good, what I could have learned better, what I could have improved on, what I would have done differently, and what good things my opponent did as well. So it's not just strictly a Chaos Marine thing. You can learn from other armies as well, but that's all these tournament videos that are coming up. We are ranked second in the world for Chaos Space Marines, so that's cool to say as well. So you guys are actually learning from one of the top competitive people in the world when it comes to 40k. We did rank #1 in Grey Knights last year, so I know all my Grey Knight brethren are around, but we're trying to kind of expand the 40k genre and run more armies to kind of see that it's not just a fluke with Grey Knights, but we can actually play this game pretty well. So that's why I bring a lot of tactical videos to you guys on the channel so you guys can get better at the game. If you guys are interested in getting better at the game, the competitive dirtbag is really what you want to check out on Patreon. That's where I get to teach you kind of like one-on-one with lists, ideas. Ask anybody else on Discord what they like about it, if they're actually learning, which hopefully they are. A lot of guys keep coming back to me and saying this is fucking awesome. I actually do play TTS games with my Grandmaster Dirtbags as well. So if you guys are interested in that, go check that out. 3D6 Wargaming sponsored us, so they are doing mats and terrain and objective markers. So if you guys, there's a whole bunch of designs custom made for the Dirtbag Nation on there, and also dice and stickers. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. We're going to go over the list first. What I like about the list, it's Black Legion. It's been doing very, very well for me. I did change up recently. We're running an RTT this weekend with the changes, so I'll tell you guys the changes, and then we're going to go into the pictures that I took, from every single game that we did. So let's get into it. The list is, I will link it in the description below, but it's going to be Black Legion, obviously. Let me reduce myself so you guys can actually see this a little bit better. All right, let's make this bigger. All right, cool. So you guys already know Black Legion. We did bring Cypher. We tested out Cypher. I was going to kind of see if Behind Enemy Lines was worth it or with what he brought. The 4+ deny for the CP might actually be good in 10th edition if he keeps that ability, because there's going to be a lot of CP regen coming in 10th. But I didn't play an opponent that actually had CP regen besides the one opponent, and it worked, but it was at the last game of the series. So not really bring him for that. I did bring him because he does have a pretty cool pistol. He can be taken off the board and put back in reserve, so he helped with Engage. He helped with Behind Enemy Lines, stuff like that. Abaddon, obviously, he's the big badass you bring in with the Warlord trait. Dark Apostle, he has the Cloak of Conquest, which in Black Legion, everything within 6 inches, character and core is obsect, so that helps out a ton. He's given the Illusionary Supplication out to the Terminators, or really any character that needs it. Master Possession is bringing the Libor of Hereticus, which gives him 3 casts. He's Slanesh, so that way he's able to cast the Delightful Agonies on the Terminators. He can range the Terminator, which is the whole point of the Veilbreaker plate. And also he can do +1 strength to toughness on a unit. So toughness 5 Terminators with Feel No Pain, Illusionary Supplication, -1 to wound is really fucking good. And then Sorcerer and Terminator armor. This guy is bringing the Veilbreaker plate. He brings a Chaos Familiar for free, so he can recast a power. He's got the Combi Melta because Black Legion hitting on 2s is really fucking good. I am changing his powers. I definitely want to change his powers in the new tournament coming up, which we'll go over. But this one, he brought Death X and Diabolical Strength. He's Jentzsch, so he ignores the first failed save. And with Veilbreaker plate, he ignores AP 1 and 2, or gets basically armor contempt again with Veilbreaker plate. So he is actually really, really tanky. I think he has like 6 wounds. Yeah, and he puts out a 4-up invuln save on the bikes because he's Jentzsch. Now with the troops, we brought cultist mobs. Cultists are just way too good in Chaos. Like the 1 CP to res them back up is just super good. They can do actions, so they can do the banners or behind it, the Knockman data or whatever the fuck it's called. Most of the time they're doing banners or dominions with the Black Legion secondary. Legionnaires, we brought 2 squads of basic Legionnaires. Both have blast cannons in it because with Black Legion, if they sit all the way in the back and they just shoot at something big, if they don't move, closest visible target, they're hitting on 2s. If they move, they hit on 3s, closest visible target. So they're pretty reliable last cannons. Strength 9, AP 3, D6 damage. You know, having 2 of them for free is legit. So usually just have them in the back and kind of like shooting really long range. I don't have my Legionnaires do anything crazy. They just kind of like chill and sit on the home field objective. And then finally we have elites. We are running the Terminator brick. This still is very, very good. I maxed out basically whatever I can. 440 points, -1 CP because we brought the Black Room Damnation, -1 to wound on the full squad. They have Marcus Slanesh. They have 4 power fists. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 combi meltas on the champion. 2 chain fists, 1 on champion, 1 on the combi melta, and the rest are combi bolters and cursed weapons. So I like having the power fist with the 2 damage. I like having 2 chain fists, one on the main guy because he has 4 attacks, and 1 more chain fist because the 3 damage weapons is clutch on vehicles. And then cursed weapons, if you have extra points, you could always just put more power fists in here. But the combi plasmas, you'll probably notice, are a little bit different. Having them get full rerolls to hit and wound from Abaddon is actually really, really good because you're going to overcharge them almost the entire time. So they're hitting on 2s most of the time because they're shooting at the closest visible target. Their strength 8, -3, and 2 damage with exploding 6s on turn 1 and turn 2. So usually they're going to Veilbreaker plate them. They're going to be within half range. So they get 2 shots each, hitting on 2s, exploding 6s, full rerolls. So if you roll 1, you just re-roll it. Usually don't re-roll the plasma guns, only if they roll 1. So I roll to see if they hit. If I get a 1, I re-roll that 1, but I don't do full re-rolls of the plasmas because I don't want them to die. So I roll 2 dice each because you have to roll them separately. If you get a 6, that's another explosion. If you roll 1, you just re-roll that 1. If you get a 2 and a 3, you just keep those 2s and 3s, and then you roll to wound afterwards with full re-rolls to wound as well. So having those with the 4 combi meltas coming in with Veilbreaker plate, with the sorcerer having a melta as well, that's 5 fucking meltas in their face, 2 plasmas, and the rest bolters just blah, like just kill whatever the fuck they want to kill when they Veilbreaker plate. So this is a very, very good unit, especially in Black Legion with full rerolls. Unit Possessed do very, very well in Black Legion. They hit on 2s with the charge on turn 3, exploding 6s. They're toughness 5 innately. They have a 5-up invuln save. They're strength 5, so like 2 damage, like they kill a shit ton of stuff. I didn't play them the best, but when you do play them well, it's just they just wreck face, especially being speed 9. So being able to get to units pretty fast, I usually just camp them behind the wall, and then when they're ready to go out, they go out, usually by turn 3. We have a unit of bikers. We do have 9 bikes in this list. I did change it down to 8 bikes in my new list to add another thing. But we have 9 bikes, 2 combi plasmas, and I have 2 combi plasmas because I can't find the 10 points to make combi or to make plasma guns. Now, if you have plasma guns, which are 10 points a model, you can shoot the plasma guns as well as shooting the bolters. So if you're shooting 2 plasma guns, they're Zinch, so they're AP 4, which is really good. They can shoot 24 inches, 1 shot each, and then the bolters are shooting as well. But instead, I did combi plasmas, which are just 2 bolter shots and a plasma shot. If you're within half range, which is 12 inches, then you're shooting 2 and 2. I think it's still worth it because you're re-rolling overheating them because you're usually within 6 inches of Abaddon, so you get to reroll 1s with the plasmas. Now you can do it that way, or if it's turn 1, you can give that unit full rerolls to hit and wound, so they're rerolling everything outside of 6 of Abaddon. So they do a lot of damage. They're AP 1 innately because they're Zinch, so ignore the first failed save, but also all their bolters and plasmas get +1 AP. And if you spend 1 CP, they could shoot 30 inches with their bolters and then AP 2. So they actually take down a lot of stuff because they have a shit ton of shots. Imagine 9 times or let's say 8 times, 6 times 4, 7 times 4, 7, 14, 28. So that's 28 shots, exploding 6s, full rerolls to hit. And then you get 4 extra shots with the other plasmas, exploding 6s, and if you're shooting the closest visible target, they're hitting on 2s. So 2s, exploding 6s, full rerolls, and then to wound, they're getting full rerolls to wound again because of Abaddon. And if you get full rerolls to wound on the Terminators, you shoot the Vendetta target from Abaddon, and if they're within 6 inches of Abaddon, which most likely they will be, full rerolls to wound on that Vendetta target. So if you're doing a big unit as your Vendetta or a big monster, needing 6s to wound is still pretty good with full rerolls to wound at AP 1 or 2. It's a very good combo. So we have big unit Terminators, big unit bikes, and Possessed and Abaddon. So those units are the ones that are killing mostly their entire army. Venom Crawler. I love the Venom Crawler. I don't know if I could ever take the Venom Crawler out. It just does so much work. 36 inches, 6 shots, assault, AP 2, 2 damage, strength 6, moves 12, gives your Psychers +1 to cast, only 105 points, 6 attacks in combat, strength 7, AP 3, 2 damage, again, moves fucking 12. So closest visible target with Black Legion, you're hitting on 2s, because you basically just peek his little ass out with his little spikes, and you just see the one unit that you really want to shoot. So shooting that unit 36 inches away, exploding 6s, hitting on 2s is why you bring the Venom Crawler. So I usually keep mine in the back and not out because I don't want him to be shot, but he's doing his job by giving +1 to cast on the Master Possession as well as the Sorcerer. So he's doing his job. Super awesome unit. I will fucking always bring this guy because he's just so fucking good. All right, so that's the list. I am changing it up to this weekend. We are bringing Black Legion into a 22-23 man RTT coming up this weekend, and we're bringing the Crown. So I tested it out and it did very, very well. I took out Cypher. I upgraded one of the Legionnaire units to a Balefire Tomb so they can do the Crown objective, and I took out a bike. So that gave me enough points to be 120 points to bring the Crown, and then 20-point upgrade for the Balefire Tomb on the Legionnaire. So that way I basically kept everything the same. I just took one bike away and that's it. I took one bike away in Cypher, and I upgraded the Crown, and the Crown does fucking amazing. So we'll do a whole video on that later, once I'm done the tournament. All right, so 5-game GT, first matchup, Votann. This is the second time I've ever played Votann. All right, so not going into it super confident. He's running 2 of the big thing. Again, sorry, I don't know if I know the names. We're gonna do a thing once we hit probably 3,000 subs. We're gonna show pictures of units in the game, and I'm gonna have to like name them while drinking. So that's gonna be a super fun video. So stay tuned for that. But 2 big battle thingies. We have a unit of the Grenadier dudes. They shoot really good. They have the swords. 2 small units of the swords. So I think 2 units of the sword guys. 2 units of the Berserker dudes, the character, the tank character that heals, 2 units of bikes, and then the 2 big things. So it's not a huge list, but it does hit really hard. He's got the thing like the big gun that auto wounds on a 6. He's running that one thing where he gets the pregame move, as well as the railgun or the big gun, 6s auto wound, and then it turns into like carryover. It's dumb. It's super fucking dumb. And then the markers that he puts on you counts as 1 more than what you have. So whatever that Brotherhood is, that's what he was running. So the first mission we played was the Long Way mission. This is the one where you don't get a CP unless you start on we're going from like 11 to plus. So every mission's in order. We start at 11 and then we go every single time. This is player plays terrain. This big ass fucking thing was an issue every single time we placed terrain, just because of how fucking big it is, and these walls are 1 inch, which they played. If you're a hair away from the wall, you literally can't charge past the wall. They weren't using the WTC rules or ITC, whatever the rules are, where if you can you can always charge through the walls no matter what. Like, you can't block them out, but this one you can block them out. So you have to remember that, where you have to literally go all the way around or kind of through this way to charge. This is going to be forest in the middle, forest. Everything else is kind of what you see, what you get. 2 crates, and this is a U. So this little thing, first floor line of sight blocking. So there's a little U terrain, a little L over there, a little U over here. So it's all pretty, like, the terrain was good set up. It was just very big, and you kind of had to just place them the best you could. So yeah, so that was the terrain setup. That's the mission. I deployed on this side, you deployed on that side. This is my deployment. I basically put all the Terminators with Abaddon, the guys behind the wall, which this blocked line of sight, Venom Crawler in the back, everything else kind of chilling back here. We have a unit of Legionnaires on the bottom floor on the objective, and then we have the Possessed as well as the Cultists right here. So I actually happen to have turn 1. So what I did turn 1 was I basically moved everybody up to the wall. This is where I fucked up. So see right here, the Possessed were right against the wall. I didn't expect him to do his jump thing turn 1, which you'll see what the fuck happens. But the Possessed were right against the wall, so you could just kind of charge through the wall. I should have just been 1 inch away, so that way you couldn't get anybody through the wall. And the Cultists did the thing where they walked up and did, I believe they did Dominions on this objective, and they spread out to try and block the deep strike in the back here. These guys spread out, block the deep strike in the back here. And then over here we got blocking up the deep strike. So Master Possession always turn 1 tries to kill a Terminator, which we did happen to kill Terminator. So if you're doing Veilbreaker Plate, you have to kill Terminator turn 1 to make it a lot easier for you guys. So I was like, do I want a Veilbreaker Plate turn 1? Nah, we'll save it, because I was going to Veilbreaker Plate over here and just kind of hopefully blow up this thing and kind of steal the objective. But then we held off. So I should have done it, didn't do it, it's fine. We held off. He then fucking turn 1 launches his dudes right into this middle forest thing, which he ignores the forest with Votann. So launches them there, shoots like 3 or 4 cultists, didn't get a lot of line of sight to anything else, and then he rolls a fucking 9 for charging. Like, what? So he gets a 9 on the charge, charges my Possessed, finishes off all but 1 Possessed. The last Possessed is stuck fucking right there as he piled and consolidated. I should have like removed them differently, so that way I left the guy over here so that way he could have fell back. But instead, he's stuck in combat. I then can't shoot this squad because they're all tied up. I can't get out of combat. I can't desperate breakout because I don't have enough CP. Okay, so that's where I fucked up. Was he charged this, took over this objective. I think I ran banners, not Dominion. So took over this objective. I still have OBSEC, so yeah, it's bad. These Legionnaires back here, Venom Crawler stayed back here. This is another thing that I fucked up. So again, second time playing Votann, so really good to see what they could do. I failed my Illusionary Supplication. So if you guys know what Illusionary Supplication is, it's a 4-up trans hitman. I failed that, and I was like, you know what, I can survive. So his big tank was here, right, in this little big circle around these Terminators. I didn't Veilbreaker Plate, I just moved up. So they all moved up. Abaddon moved up, and then they charged the big thing. So I shot, there's no rerolls to wound on Votann, which is also very good, especially in the Black Legion. So all the 6s, he made a shit ton of saves, like so many saves. All the 6s didn't go through, all the plasmas didn't go through, the bolters did shit, they didn't do anything. I couldn't shoot this unit because they were in combat. So then I charged, and all the Terminators kind of kept around, surrounded the tank, so that way the guys inside had to desperate breakout or get out of the tank or whatever, and some die. So then Abaddon charged as well, and he's the one who had to finish off the tank. So out of all those meltas and shots and the close combat, still wasn't able to kill it. Then Abaddon had to finish it off. I think he had like 3 wounds left or whatever, and then Abaddon finished it off, and it died. So he first took his guys out and put them over here in the forest. But I told him that I was OBSEC and he had a unit of bikes on the other side here. So I was OBSEC, so I would have stole the objective from him, which would have got me Long War. But instead, he didn't know that these guys were OBSEC, so I let him put them on the objective over here. So he basically kept the objective as well as didn't give me long war. So I didn't kill anything on the objective. I might have killed the tank. I don't know if the tank was touching the objective, but I didn't kill the objective. I didn't get the 2 points for long war, and he was still able to steal that and get 1, 2, 3. And I had 1, 2, 3. So he was still able to get 8 points on turn 1. Should have had 4, but he got 8. So after his turn, this was just brutal. So again, failed illusionary supplication. So this is basically what's left. He had his dudes over here. The bikes hopped out. These guys got out of the tank. This guy scooted up. The tank just kind of stayed there and shot the shit. These guys moved up. Bikes went from over here over to here. These guys finished off the cultists, and they're about to charge these little legionnaires in the back unit. And all my characters on the back here. So it's not looking good for the Terminators. They're just getting shot to shit. Full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound. This big thing, just mortal wounds everywhere. The illusionary definitely would have changed it a lot. He has 2 tokens, I believe, on this unit. So he's auto wounding on 4s because they count as having 3 tokens on the unit. So auto wounding on 4s. And this is the end of the charge. So these guys charged in, finished off that unit. These guys did an action. This guy kind of chilled there. They chilled there. Bikes did there. These guys charged in up here. I think 2 guys lived somehow. I don't know how. And then Abaddon's all by himself. So basically turn 2, I lost all my Terminators. I lost my Possessed, and I lost my Cultist and 3 of my Legionnaires. So it's not looking good after turn 2 because of my fuck ups. Again, I fucked up with the placement of this wall with Possessed, which try not to do that. I fucked up with bringing my Terminators out. They should have just waited 1 more turn for him to come near me. And these guys shouldn't have been able to charge the Possessed. So that is really the biggest fuck up right there, and the Terminators. All right, so after this turn, Abaddon moved up, and when you have to have Abaddon move up, and he charged, I think, the bikes and the 2 guys over here, so he finished those 2 guys. This guy's left, these 3 guys are left, these guys are strung out, the things over here. I did bring my bikes in, so I didn't start them on the table. I put them in reserves, which, another fuck up, because maybe they could have finished off these guys over here, potentially, but they came in over here because I believe I took engage. So they came in over here to blow off the character unit that was on the objective back here, the 4 like servitors and the guy that heals the tank. So we finished off those guys, which got me 1 point for long war. I took over this objective, which got me another point for long war, and I killed them, so that was 4 points for long war, so that was pretty good. And these 2 guys kind of fell back. I made a guy in the unit, so they fell back, held the objective. I'm not sure if these guys were OPSEC or not, but they're kind of just chilling. They're shooting all their shits into my characters, dudes over here. And then what else? Cypher, I believe, didn't come in yet, so he was over there. Bikes are just chilling over there. And that's my turn. His turn then, he's kind of scooting up towards here to try and get the charge off on my character. Abaddon's chilling right there. This guy's scooted back. Now they're like, all right, we have to run the fuck away from Abaddon, which is smart. You can kind of just ignore Abaddon at this moment. These guys went behind the cover to kind of shoot these bikes. The one auto hitting 6 carryover damage into the bikes killed like 6 of them. So all the bikes just got nuked down with this one thing and these guys shooting. So yeah, very, very good. These guys are going to charge my Legionnaires and kill the Legionnaires. Bikes didn't really get, they got some shots off on my Legionnaire unit down here. And the characters are all just chilling behind the Legionnaires. So he spent, this is where it fucked up as well. So one of the guys who came over to the table was asking a bunch of questions and kind of like just going through what's going on. So when you're in a tournament, you shouldn't be talking to like opponents if like they're like doing stuff. So it's funny. One of the guys asked my opponent if he has a fallback and shoot strat, right? And he's like, yeah, because these guys were stuck in combat. He's like, yeah, I have a 1 CP fallback and shoot. And he's like, oh, that's cool. So he falls back this unit, and then he spends 1 CP to auto advance this tank from over here, like 20 some inches all the way over to here. So he's at 0 CP right now. So he goes to activate his turn, and he goes to start shooting, and he's like, oh shit, I forgot I was supposed to spend that CP to fall back, shoot, and charge. He's like, do you care if I take that back? I was like, honestly, yes, because you told me you were going to fall back, shoot, and charge. But here's the thing. If the guy didn't ask him about that strat, I wasn't going to ask him that strat. I didn't fucking know. He wouldn't have said it out loud, and then he wouldn't have been able to take back the 1 CP because he auto-advanced this guy. So these guys would have been stuck in combat, not being able to shoot my guys. Fuck. So the only reason I let him take it back because he told me what he was going to do. He told me that he was going to spend 1 CP to fall back this unit and shoot, and instead he spent the 1 CP over here because he forgot about that. So I was like, all right, fine, you can take it back. So he brought his tank all the way back here, which I think he just moved up to this objective, and then he spent the 1 CP to shoot this unit. So I was like, come on, man. Like, so he like apologized and kind of, you know, bought me lunch and walked away from the table. But that was something that's something you should learn if you're at a GT. Like, don't talk to, I guess, your opponent or whatever, because like you might say something that triggers, you know, something else throughout the game. And if you're in a competitive scene, most of the time you're going to win the game if you know the knowledge of the game, like the strategy, the tactics, the basic rules of 40k. That's going to put you at a huge advantage going into kind of newer players or players that aren't as well diverse or knowledgeable of the game as you are. That's going to really separate the top tier fucking players to like the normal players and then like the new guys, right? So if you're a really good player, you can win the game just based off of basic rules. Like, because it's a dice game, you can't really win the game based off the dice game. It's knowing the key rules of like piling, consolidate, getting the on the objectives, stealing objectives, all that stuff. You're going to win more games like that than just having the best army and rolling dice. So if you're at a GT, make sure you're not saying stuff out loud that might help the opponent or the guy, like whatever. We're past that point. So he still probably would have beat me anyway, but it was really close even at this point, which in the points, I think I only lost by like 3. So I was actually coming back until this. So even with all those fuck ups, that's what I was saying. I was actually still coming back in this game. Okay, so on this turn, Abaddon scooted over on the other side of the objective, and he fucking did dominions on that objective. So I needed points, so having Abaddon, a 350-point unit, having to do dominions is where we were at this game, in this game, all right? So at this point, let's go to the next picture. Yeah, so the tank stayed on that objective, I guess. Abaddon, on my turn, moved up, charged the tank. These guys, I think, died. I think Abaddon either killed these guys or that might have been it. So Abaddon moved up, advanced, charged these guys, right? Killed them, consolidated 3 inches to tag the tank. So that's what he did, was he charged in, took these guys off the objective, killed them, consolidated 3 inches to be within 1 inch of the tank, and then tagged the tank at the end of my turn. So he has left a character, a big tank. The 3 berserkers, I believe, got in the charge over here onto my character. These 3 guys killed the guys over there. I Veilbreaker plated my Terminator sorcerer over here to do some smites and melt his onto the bikes, which then he charged the bikes, killed the bikes. And then it's not a lot left on the table. All right, so this is the final matchup, or the final thing. I still had my Master Possession died, but I still had my Illusionary Supplication guy, the Dark Apostle, so he was still alive on the objective. These guys were on that objective. I was on that objective. Nobody on that objective. Nobody on this objective. So, okay, end of the game. This was the final score. So primary, I had 8 throughout the entire time, so that was cool. We had 32 plus 7, so 39 for primary. Dominions, I happened to get 12, so I did dominions on the 2 objectives in my zone and 1 objective from Abaddon on turn 4, which got me 12 on dominions. Long War, we actually happened to get 11, so I had 1 on turn 1, 4 on turn 2, 2, and then 4. So Long War actually was pretty good. If I would have had 1 more turn, I probably would have got 15. Engage, we got 2, 2, 3, 2, so we got 9 for engage. And then down here for primary, he got 45, so that was good. He had grind, he took grind, so I was trying to stop grind as much as possible. He got 6 for grind, which is pretty good for us. Banners, he did 11 for banners, and then behind enemy lines, he did 12. Okay, so that one fucking unit, deep struck turn 1, charged and lived the entire fucking game getting in behind enemy lines. Damn it. So that unit got him 12 fucking points. Like that was so clutch. So I think the final score 84-81. Yeah, so it was very close. It was my first game again, second time playing Votann, so I don't know what the fuck they do. And I definitely learned a lot. So I had my third game against Votann in the battle report coming up on tomorrow. And yeah, it was a cool game. Nice guy. Beat me game one of the tournament. So I was like, all right, this is going to be super fun going in the next 4 games. But it was, again, very close game, coming back from it. And that one thing with the guy walking up to the table, I don't think it would have done a huge difference. Like, it would have stopped some shots going out, but he still would have been able to kill the Legionnaires and take them off the objective. And then I would have had the big tank to try and deal with, or I don't know, not a huge deal. But close game. So we almost came back. And then that was... this was like the finale. So he had the one tank over there, this guy right there, those guys over there, and that's basically where he ended up. So he needed 1, 2, 3. I only had 1, 2, so he got 12 points for primary. So if I was able to stop him from getting primary, that might have helped out a little bit. So who knows? Fun game. All right, next game, we got Tyranids. So this guy, he's at like almost every tournament. He's a local guy. I've seen him at Nova, seen him at LVO, seen him at like all the RTTs and G. Like he's a really good guy, competitive player. Nids, I forget who he went into game 1. It might have been either Jesse. I think it was Jesse. I think he went into Jesse, who is like one of the top what was he like guard players in the world right now. So he lost to Jesse, who wins all the RTs and GTs. So, of course, me and him go into each other round 2. So, it's not an easy matchup. He brought the one Tyranid list, which has flamers, shit ton of flamers. 2 walking tyrants as well, which you don't see a lot, but they both have like really high power guns, so they're like 5 damage or something. Like they shoot really fucking good. 2 big guys. 2 big, I forget what they're called. I think they're heavy support. Now, I've only played Tyranid big guys, which are the character ones, which I believe I thought they were in this game. So I thought he had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the little guy that counts as 5 models, the wing dude. This guy. So he had this guy as well. So I thought he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, 6 characters. I thought he had 6 characters. So I was like, all right, Assassinate's pretty good. But instead, I found out later on that he had only 3 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. So I was like, well, shit, like I probably should have taken something else. And so he let me change the secondary up to, I think, like bring it down or something. So it wasn't a huge difference, but I thought these guys were characters. So that's kind of why I went after them turn 1. So 2 units of those, 3 units of 3 of the big flamer guys, which are super good. Unit of Hive Guard, unit of the tentacled guys that make you fight last. 2 units of Hormagaunts. The Rippers are for the guy that makes them, and a unit of Gargoyles. So pretty legit list. The Hormagaunts do like 1 CP where they do mortal wounds. Like they're super fast, shit like that. So this was a deployment. I was on this side, he was on this side. He set up the big thing there. I set up my big thing back here. And I love this mission because this is the bomb mission. So I played this one a ton of times, and it's a little bit different because how they did deployment, you had to cut it strictly in half. Most of the time, like at LVO, they did the slanted version where you just cut it slanted how the deployment zones are put out. So I was always used to putting like terrain out here so that way I can set up my unit and put a bomb down. So I wasn't used to this setup at all. This was for the rest of the GT as well. So I had to kind of change up my tactic and not put as many bombs down, if any, because I couldn't put anything on the other side of this line. So yeah, so I could have, I guess, put the terrain piece like right here, and then just start my guys here and kind of walk over, but I didn't. I did a little defensively. So ruin back here, ruin there, bricks, which were super long and tall on this mission or on this map. So this like covered the entire fucking objective on basically both sides. So that was cool. And then big brick in the back here, and the forest in the center. So let's go into turn 1. I had turn 2. Yeah, so I believe he went first, which he just basically ran everybody forward. I put my Terminators in here. Everybody's within 6 inches of Abaddon on the other side of the wall, so this one Terminator is within 6 inches of Illusionary and Abaddon, as well as the bikes being within 6 inches of Illusionary and Abaddon. So depending on if I go for turn 1 or turn 2, I'm able to put the buffs on any one of the 2 units. Everything else is kind of behind this wall, and then we have a Legionary unit with Cultists in the back here, stopping out Deep Strikes and Reserves. So his turn 1, he basically ran everybody up here. My turn, all right, so his turn 1, he ran up this big Turbogon up to here, right on like where you can see him. He had the Flamers run up to next to him. He had the Hive Tyrant right next to them, and then all the Hormagaunts were kind of like behind this wall on the building, and then everything else kind of scooted up. Everything was behind this little wall back here. The Tyrant Guard were also over here behind the wall, protecting the Hive Tyrant. Everything else kind of stayed back here. So my turn 1, he hasn't played Black Legion, I don't think, and he's never played me before. So turn 1, I fucking Veil Break. We put full rerolls to hit and wound onto the Terminators. We did Illusionary Supplication on the Terminators. We did Delightful Agonies on Terminators, and +1 toughness on the Terminators. I think I gave them +1 strength or +1 toughness. It might have been +1 toughness. The bikes got 4 pinball save. They all scooted back to get line of sight on the big boy, because they can see over this. So I spent 1 CP to extend the range 30 inches, so they're able to kind of get on the big boy. The Master Possession ran up behind the wall here. I was able to be within 3 inches of one of the Terminators over here, so he was able to shank turn 1, and that's basically how you do turn 1 Veilbreaker plate, is he shanks a guy turn 1, kills a Terminator, makes a Terminator in the psychic phase. Abaddon's within 6 inches of the Terminator unit, so they get +1 to charge, and then you Veilbreaker plate the I have a whole video, if you guys are interested, a whole video on how to Veilbreaker plate. But Veilbreaker plate my Sorcerer, and all the Terminators are within 6 inches of the Sorcerer, outside 9 inches of him. So again, I thought I had Assassinate, so I was trying to kill his big character turn 1, but it's not a character. So I shot his character with Meltas. I killed some of these guys, Flamers, and I combi charged the big guy and the Flamers. So we left 1 Flamer alive, as well as the big guy died. So we chained him out to be within 3 inches of Abaddon, 3 inches of the Sorcerer, and then chained them out so that way I get a couple attacks of guys in here. So they're fully buffed up. Everybody's kind of just ready to go. His monsters have to walk around the building, so he can't go through the building to charge Abaddon, so Abaddon's pretty safe. I know he's got a lot of psychic powers, but I have a Delightful Agonies on my Terminator unit, so they're pretty safe. And then everything else kind of back here, pretty safe. These guys ran up. And the Possessed, where the fuck the Possessed? The Possessed are still behind the wall. All right, so that was my turn. His turn, he fucking charged everybody into my Terminators. He has a fight last with these guys. I fight first, and he didn't know that I fight first. So fight first, fight last, cancel each other out, and then I can spend 2 CP to interrupt to try and interrupt and get some attacks back before they all die. So he attacked with his tentacle guys first, I believe, and then he found out that I had fight first, so he took it back, and then he attacked with all the Hormagaunts. So they have like strats where they can do a ton of mortal wounds and a ton of attacks and stuff like that. He only hits on 4s, can't reroll, so that definitely stopped him a lot with that. But the Tyrant Guard attacked from this side. The everybody else attacked from the front. Everybody basically got in. This guy fell back. Now, again, I hate the gotcha game. So what I would have not said was I have a 2 CP strat where I can consolidate after you fall back. So I told him that, and then he moved his Hive Tyrant first back, and then he fell back with his Flamer guy. So that way I couldn't spend 2 CP to consolidate and tag his Hive Tyrant, because that would have been clutch, because then I would have survived a bunch of shooting before I got charged. So again, I hate the gotcha game, and we already lost our first game together, so I was like, all right, this is friendly. So I do have a 2 CP strat to, you know, consolidate or whatever. This is like, if I'm 1-0, he's 1-0, and this is game, like I'm going to tell him in the beginning of the game, but not tell him when it happens, because then you could do the strat. If you tell him the strat ahead of time, there's no point of having the strat. They're just going to not do it. So I told him that, backed up his Hive Tyrant, backed up that guy. I didn't spend the 2 CP, so at least I still had 2 CP to interrupt. So yeah, so there's that. And then everything else charged in. So after that charge, that was basically it. That's the whole thing going on down here. Then over here, I had 2 guys survive the fight. They fell back. I created one. So now I'm back up to 3 Terminators. My Possessed came out from the wall. Abaddon came out from the wall. Or Abaddon moved up. Illusionary Supplication dude moved up. I think you put that on Abaddon? Yeah, I think Abaddon has it, or I failed it. I might have failed it. I think I failed it twice this game. So it's 3 times in 2 games. Everything else kind of screwed up. These guys moved up. The Hormigons turn 1, I forgot to say. The bolters from my Terminators with 4 rerolls to hit and wound killed all the Hormigons, which he was super upset about because he didn't think I couldn't get line of sight to everybody, but I did. So all the bolters killed the Hormigons, which helped out a lot because they probably would have fucking flung forward and tied up my my backlines. But then all the bikes were able to finish off the Hormigons left over here and do some damage to the other big guys. The tentacle guys didn't have a lot of good saves, so we shot them off. So then we finished off the Tyrant Guard over here. We finished off the 1 character that counts as 5 models on the other side of this wall. Abaddon charged and killed him. And then the Possessed charged and killed the Hive Guard. So we have unit of Terminators, the Sorcerer, these guys, Abaddon on the center, and the bikes still alive. The Cultists are moving up. Slowly they're going to try and get onto the center objective and hopefully do Dominions or Banners, one of those 2. Okay, so his turn 3. Abaddon is just wrecking face. I believe he killed the other Hive Tyrant on the other side of the wall. I kept making Terminators. The Possessed moved up and charged the big guy and this Flamer. 3 Flamers over there. I was going to charge the thing, consolidate into the Flamers to try and tag them up. And then the bikes started moving up. So they got shot a little bit. A couple of them died. Venomcrawler scooted out finally to get line of sight on these guys, on the big guy, to try and do some damage to the big guy. Illusionary guy is just running out, you know, doing what he does. And then over here, he started running and moving up these guys to try and get either bombs or behind enemy lines on my side. Cypher came in, did a bunch of damage and shots to these guys. Did he have the... Yeah, okay, so he had the gargoyles come down over here, and I believe these guys... Yeah, these bikes shot and finished off the gargoyles, because I know they would have got behind enemy lines or planted bombs or something, so I had to kill all of the gargoyles. So the Cypher finished off the gargoyles. These guys finished off the gargoyles. And then I think I even shot a last cannon into the gargoyles to finish off the last gargoyle. Because we really needed to kill the gargoyles. Even if he had one gargoyle, he was able to kind of hop over, do a banner, or do a bomb, and we didn't want that. So we finished off the gargoyles. This walking Hive Tyrant's just kind of running up. These guys are running up. And up here, this is kind of just a mosh pit of melee going on up top. Okay, so after this turn, this is all that's left up here. Abaddon is then running back here. Sorcerer is still fucking alive. Venomcrawler moved up to charge. 1 Terminator left over here. This guy... One Flamer back here. Like I said, these guys are starting to move up, so they're running up to the center objective. Rippers are doing their job, holding down the back fort, and we finished off the Flamers over here. So he wasn't able to get completely behind enemy lines over here. So these guys walked up and finished off the Flamers down here. So that was the final game, or final there. So primary, I got 45. Banners, I got 12. Long War, I got 11. And Bring It Down, I got 10. So we were able to kill almost everything for Bring It Down. His primary, he had 28, 8, 8, 4, 8. Banners, he had 7. Warp Ritual, he took Warp Ritual. He did it the first turn, and then the I think, 3rd or 4th turn. So we got 7 for Warp Ritual. And the behind enemy lines, we only got 3. So that really kind of screwed him for behind enemy lines. He got it 1 turn with the Flamers, and then I finished off the Flamers. So 55 to 88 Black Legion. So again, it was a great match. Always hard to play Tyranids because they just have so many tools and tactics behind their belt. So definitely a good game. All right, this is our 3rd game of the day. This was against Space Marines. I don't think I've played Space Marines in months. This guy was super strict with like the rules and measurement and placement, so he was very analytical when it came to his play style and playing and rolling and stuff like that. So he brought Guilliman. First time I saw Guilliman on the table. He brought Guilliman, this big tank with a bunch of bolters and heavy bolters and hurricane bolters. He brought 2 of the dreadnoughts that have the Volkite rounds. He brought 2 one guy Melta biker for oaths. He brought a Tech Marine. He brought 2 units of these guys, which are going to be insane in 10th edition, but they're really good now. I brought a Librarian, Guilliman, and 2 units of these 2 shield guys. He also brought 2 of these guys, the cages, which can advance deploy, and he brought 2 units of the troops, like the basic troops that have no deep strike within 12 inches. He put 1 unit up there and 1 unit, I believe, over here. All right, so I had turn 1. So I was able to run everybody up to this wall right here, just kind of wait. I had Cultist down here. So did he have turn 1 or I had turn 1? So I think I had turn 1, and he redeployed really nobody. So I was able to kind of shoot this 1 tank off that he had on this objective. And this other tank, I think, took some damage from my Venom Crawler. Like I said, it kind of peeks his head out and shoots 36 inches. So took some damage to them. And these guys down here. So that was that. My turn 1, I basically just ran everybody up to the wall. I had Legionnaires out here. I had my character right here. I had Abaddon, Terminators, Illusionary, this guy shanking a Terminator, which I believe I killed a Terminator. Possessed behind the wall, and bikes over here. Full rerolls to hit and wound on the bikes because I wasn't Veilbreaker plating turn 1, so they get the buffs from Abaddon, Illusionary, all that fun stuff with them. And then the cultists walked up and did Dominions on this objective, so they did their job. And then that's it. So he ran the bike up to the center to do oaths. This guy scooted out to get a bunch of shots on my bikes. These guys scooted up, and I don't know if, I think he did the Space Marine one where you get points for doing an action on the objective, and if you survive, you get 4 points. Run. I don't know what it's called. Run something, boots, run something. So he gets 4 points if he does the action and survives for the next turn. So he did that on his home objective, started on that objective, and started it on this back objective as well. So Volkites moved up, fully buffed up. They were just shooting the cultists, wiped off the cultists pretty easily. This dread scooted up and shot my Legionnaires back here. And the fucking non-line of sight guys just murdered a bunch of dudes, ignoring cover, like out of line of sight. So this unit down here, Legionnaire unit, died. The Possessed took some wounds. I was hoping he killed a Possessed so that way I can move my Possessed up and make a Possessed. That's a good tactic where if you fail your saves and a guy dies, it's not the worst thing in the world because now it gives you extension for charges with your Master of Possession. But you also have a choice to make your invuln saves rather than your cover saves. So I always forget that, where you can choose which save you'd like to take. Let's say he's shooting at you with AP1 weapons or whatever. You can choose to make your invuln save of a 5-up or demon save rather than your regular save. So if I have like one guy shooting less and he has 1 wound, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take my invuln save on this wound and have him die, because then he has nothing else shooting at that unit. So there's one guy dead. You can then move out 9 inches, make a guy 2 inches further than that, and then he makes a charge. So try and remember that, because I always forget. But he's got the tank up here. He's got these guys here, which he decided not to move up. If he would have moved these guys up, that would have changed my entire plan. These guys over here can't deep strike within 12 inches of them. So this is what I did. I Veilbreaker plated turn 2. So this is what we did. We had to measure everything out. So I measured out 12 inches from the top guys, which got me to there. I measured out 9 inches from this tank, which got me to there. I was outside of the forest on here. This guy was in the forest, which was the Veilbreaker plate. We had to be completely within 6 inches of him, which was down here. Then this guy was the maid guy. So put everybody in. I had to chain it out so that way they weren't touching the forest. And they had to be within 6 inches of Abaddon. So Abaddon within 6 inches of this guy, so that way they get the +1 to charge. The Possessed are chilling back here. Legionnaires chilling back here. This Illusionary guy is just chilling back there. Cypher, I think, came in over here just to shoot these guys. And then I still had the bikes that moved up, and they wanted to finish off these dudes right here. Okay, so everything's set up for the Veilbreaker plate. We put all the Meltas closest to this guy, so they all have the Melta shots into this tank. And then all the bolters, I think, just shot these guys? I don't know. So, thing about the 12 inches, though, with Veilbreaker plate, you're outside 12 inches. You then make a guy within 2 inches right there, which is, his base is about 1.5 inches. So basically I have a 8-inch charge, right, to the guy, if you do the math right, 8-inch charge to the guy, and then +1 to charge because of Abaddon. So out of 12 inches, I turned it down to a 7-inch charge. 7-inch and spend 1 CP if you need to reroll. But 7-inch charge from 12 fucking inches is Veilbreaker plate. So super good, even with guard, you know, and shit like this, Space Marines, you're still able to get a 7-inch charge if you do it correctly with the Veilbreaker plate. So that's what we did. We did it correctly. So I explained it to him. It made sense to him. We did it, and then boom, good to go. So if I kill this unit, it stops his secondary. I take this objective for Long War, and I blow up his tank, and all the fun shit happens. So that went off. We made our charge. Everything else is still behind here. We consolidated, put as many people into the cover as possible. The tank blew up. These guys are still there. This guy's still chilling there 3 inches away from this unit. And then we charged his bike with our Legionnaires because we had to kill the bike in the center because I didn't want him to keep getting oaths in the center of the battle. So I would try to shoot him off. Didn't finish him to shooting, so I had to charge him. So I charged him with the Legionnaires, sacrificed my Legionnaires to stop him from getting oaths in the center. Cypher then ran away because he's got that thing at the end of the shooting or assault phase. He can get off the board. So he came on the board, shot these guys, and then fled. So yeah, it was good. It was a good turn too. He got 4 points for his home objective, 4 points for this objective, and all my guys are still kind of chilling in the center here. His next turn moves these guys up. These Volkites are starting to move forward to try and get on these objectives. They're sticky because he's Space Marines. These guys get on this objective, and I think they charge. These guys, the character hopped out. He took interrogation, so he had to get out to try and interrogate my character over here. So I gave him my character so that way his character can move out and interrogate him. So now his character is in the open, so hopefully I can kill him to stop interrogation. He put 2 guys next to him, but not in front of him, so that was a mistake on his part. Gilliman scooted up, and all these guys stayed back here to stay out of line of sight. And that was that. So this was the turn where the Possessed started taking wounds. So again, I didn't kill any Possessed, but if I would have killed 1 Possessed, it would have helped out a lot. So after this turn, we finished off. Abaddon came out to play. The Possessed spent 1 CP to advance and charge. So they advanced, I believe, 4 inches to get an easier charge onto the these 2 guys. So we charged these two guys together. I put all the attacks onto the Librarian. We consolidate, pilot in onto the other side of this wall. So I can at least tag this unit over here so that way it has to fall back. These guys are still chilling. These guys moved up. We killed the big the tank over here, I believe, with the bikes. So we finished off the tank over there. Abaddon joined the Terminators. The Illusionary guy joined the Terminators. These guys are still alive, but they got charged by Abaddon, so they got picked up. And I lived with 3 wounds on my Sorcerer. So they charged my Sorcerer with Veilbreaker plate with Armor Contempt. He lived, which was awesome. So he's super tanky boy. And all the Terminators, since they're OBSEC, I had to wait a turn to make the objectives OBSEC. So it happens in the command phase, so I had to wait one more turn on my command phase. They become sticky, so that way the Terminators can then start moving off the objectives. So that's why the Terminators stayed on that objective, and they're now OBSEC. So I waited a turn until next turn, so that way they can get off the objectives. So he still has 2 Volcates down here, a unit of 2 guys down here, and obviously Guilliman, who's buffing up everybody. So after his turn, we scooted again everybody off, kept 1 guy in the objective to keep them OBSEC. And these guys are starting to get closer. I mean, once these guys get to his backfield, it's basically over. These guys, again, tug up the back dudes back here, and they kill the character, so no more interrogation. And then on my turn, we then moved everybody up. I think we shot Guilliman, and then we wanted to charge Guilliman. So let's see if we make our charge. These guys got up to the objective. They walked up and did the action down here. Cypher came in on this side behind the wall, so that way these guys have to get out of line of sight shooting to shoot him, but he walked up on the wall, so that way he could try and finish off the Tech Priest down here. So Tech Priest lived. Tech Priest ran behind this wall over here to get OBSEC on this unit. So I think he's within certain range. They become OBSEC. We killed Guilliman with the charge. So we charged in, killed Guilliman. Guilliman got back up. Volkite moved up. This guy moved up. And I think we finished off these 2 guys that were on the objective. Venorcrawler still alive, just kind of chilling back here. Venorcrawler then runs behind the wall to give this guy character protection, my Master of Possession. Abaddon is just chilling. All my characters are just chilling. All my Terminators are wrapping up his entire army. And this guy is just chilling over here. So we're basically this is wrapping up the end of the game. We kill both of these squads with my Terminators. We tie up this squad. So he's got both of his dreads tied up. This character is just kind of waiting. This thing is still sticky for him because I wasn't able to get anybody on that objective. And yeah, that was basically the end of it. So the end of the game, we slowly just kept going. The Veilbreaker play was perfect. Did everything we needed to do with Veilbreaker play. I control these 2 objectives up top. He controls this objective down below here. So yeah, we finished them off at the very end. I had 32 for primary. I had fucking like 0, 4, 8, 8. So very hard for primary for me. 8 for the secondary, so 32. Warp Ritual, I took Warp Ritual. We got 12 on that one, so I did a turn 1. I did a turn 3 and then, or turn 4 and then turn 5. So we got Warp Ritual. Luckily, Long War we had 12. So average about 10 to 12 for Long War each game, and then Dominions we only had 9. So I wasn't able to get Dominions a lot because I needed my units to charge and do shit. So I couldn't get any more on Dominions. So Dominions were 9, so we had 78 as a total. And then for him, he had 16, 20, 22 for primary, 5 for Oaths. Wasn't able to do Oaths a lot. We Marched, that was the one I was talking about, sorry, 8 points. And then Psychic Interrogation he did once for 3. So 48 to 78 Black Legion. So good game, good opponent. Anytime you play me at a GT, I give you one of my Dirtbag dice, which is the limited edition. If you guys are interested, they are being sold on Discord. So not these ones, other colors, but these are limited edition. If you see me or play me at a GT. So all right, so this game, boy Frank. So I don't think I've ever played him before, but I've went to his GTs before. He runs tournaments up in Pennsylvania, and he always usually wins best paint job because his painting is amazing, super good. It's either him or TJ Lanigan, always tied for top. But T-Suns, I played T-Suns enough. I know how to play against T-Suns. I know what to do against T-Suns. I know how to beat them, whatever it may be. So I have a lot of reps into T-Suns, especially with my Grey Knights. So going with Black Legion, he hasn't played Black Legion enough to really know what they do. So I had a little bit of advantage coming into the game. He ran 2 Terminator units. This was the mission where he couldn't pregame deploy or teleport into the center, so I couldn't teleport, he couldn't teleport. So in this one, you can't do that in the center zone. So it's just the rule for that mission. It's in the core rules. It's in there. You can't pick up and redeploy. It counts as coming in from reserve. You can't come in reserves turn 1 against this mission. So that was the mission. this was the setup. This objective is wide open. This one is behind my building, so I was able to get there, and that one's behind his building. So it's pretty good setup for both of us. And back to his list. So he brought 2 units of these guys, I think 3 units of the regular troops, unit of pink horrors, unit of the Jentzsch guys, a couple characters, 2 or 3 units of flamers. This Zarg, the guy on the disc, everybody was on the disc, and a spawn. So I think he had a unit of 1 spawn and then 1 unit of 3 spawn. And that was his list. So standard T-Suns build. Looks amazing. Amazing. So again, characters, units, pink horrors, units, terminators, characters, and spawn up front. Yeah. So I know with Ritual, he usually takes that because you can fly out, cast Ritual undeniable, and then fly away. So I know if I can stop the fly away, I can try and kill the character, which is kind of what happens. And then he redeployed these guys up front, but he couldn't because we're playing the mission, so we had to redeploy them in the back. All right, so I had turn 1. I ran all my Terminators, or I moved my Terminators up to here. No, I ran them up to here, moved my bikes up to this thing, did Dominions. So if they survive, I have Dominions go off. So they moved up to there, did Dominions. These guys ran up to the objective here, their OBSEC. We did full rerolls to hit and wound onto these guys. Yeah, so they basically walked up, did Dominions. This didn't really matter, full rerolls to hit and wound, because I wasn't shooting anything turn 1 anyway. So basically just moved everybody up, spread out, try to stop the deep strike in my zone, because you can still deep strike in the opponent's zone. You just can't do it in no man's land. So if I leave him a spot to deep strike, kind of like back here or somewhere down here, he can do the deep strike. So I didn't want to do that, so I spread everybody out. These cultists ran up to here, which he then ran his guys up to there, but I only had 1 on the objective. He had 3 on the objective, so I couldn't steal that from him. And of course, he moved that guy out here to do Warp Ritual, which then I spent 1 CP to deny his fallback. So since Abaddon was within 24 inches of the guy casting it, he spent 1 CP to deny the fallback. So he basically just has this guy chilling out right here who is about to die. That is basically my charge target, so that way I can slingshot my units into his zone. He had 2 characters over here, which got into line of sight to try and nuke my bikes off the table. So they casted all their powers. He rolled like shit. I denied a bunch of them. And then these rubrics moved up and kind of just chilled in front of the characters, so that way I couldn't kill the characters. These guys stayed back, and everybody else kind of stayed back. But he got within 18 and 24 inches of my bikes to do a bunch of damage to the bikes. So that was that. My turn. Let's see what happens. Like I said, we use this guy as a slingshot, so I have the bikes that got Veilbreaker plated from my sorcerer. So I picked up my bikes from this side of the table and I Veilbreaker plated them over to this side of the table, and they had a 4-up invuln save on them from my sorcerer, and they all got line of sight to shoot the rubrics in front of the characters, which I wanted to try and move up and shoot the characters. So I rolled a 6 for the advance on these guys to do the advance in charge. So I put them in Red Corsairs. I gave them full rerolls to hit and wound. They have Illusionary, Delightful Agony. They have everything. It's been 1 CP for them to count as stationary so they could shoot all their weapons. So they moved up. I killed all but 2 of the rubrics. So the characters are now exposed. So I'm able to shoot the characters. So basically I put all the meltas and plasmas into the characters, nuked the characters. We then charged the rubrics that were on the other side of this wall. These rubrics that were left over here, and this Xandor guy right there. So we combi charged 1, 2, 3 units, and then Abaddon charged this guy as well. So the Terminators finished off these 2 rubrics, finished off these rubrics, and then Abaddon obviously finished off this guy in the center. We kept them within 6 inches, this Terminator right here, from the Illusionary guy, so that way next turn I can give him Illusionary again, and their OBSEC. So I was able to keep OBSEC in the center. Possess ran up because they're not really doing anything all the way back there, and he's just got Flamers over here, and this guy right there moved up. He's got really nothing to fear with shots, so he's able to kind of come out and shoot and play. So he was able to kind of come out and shoot the rubrics to whittle them down to 2, so that I was able to put the meltas into the characters. All the bikes helped out as well, so they shot some of the flamers over here and the rubrics over here to help out. And I wasn't able to get more cultists on this to do dominions, so I was only had 3 on there. He still had 3 or 4 guys over here, so I didn't control it, and you have to control it to do dominions. So I was too far back to get my cultists up to do dominions on this side. So that was that. So after this turn, we called it. My opponent, I felt bad. He super upset stomach, had to go to the bathroom, and he's like, yeah, honestly, I can't play this right now. You're literally tabling me, and it's only turn 2. I really have to go. So he kind of like emergency went to the bathroom and did his thing. And I felt bad because he wanted to get a full game in, but we couldn't just because of that. And also he lost most of his characters turn 2. So I think I had 10 for assassinate. 10 assassinate on turn 2. So I killed his warlord and the other characters turn 2. Dominions, we got 15. Assassinate, we got 15. No prisoners, basically tabled. So 15, 45 for primary. So we got a perfect 100 on this game because he couldn't finish it. And if we would have just ran the clock, I would have just kind of walked up and just charged and did everything. So his primary, he got 27. Sorcerer's Prowess, he got 2-4. Banners, he would have got 3 for banners. And then War Perch, we got 7. So yeah, because he probably could have done with one other character. So 51 for his points to 100, so that definitely helped out. And again, playing Thousand Suns enough, I kind of knew what to go after and what to do. So being able to kill this character, these 2 characters, turn 1 was really what I was aiming for. So that helped out, being able to deny the psychic powers and him rolling like crap for his psychic powers. That's why we stopped playing Grey Knights. I'm just kidding. So yeah, it was good. So that was the score. Last game. Game 5. I didn't, this was the end of the table. So he moved up and did whatever, and then just couldn't finish it off. Failed. And these guys didn't kill anything over here. So my boy Keeble faced the Terminator or the Tyranid guy after he played me. So very similar list, Black Legion, and the Tyranid guy knew exactly what to do and what to fear for against Keeble. So I felt bad for Keeble because he basically played me before Keeble. And then Keeble was like, well, fuck. And basically knew everything that happened to play Keeble. All right, so final game, we're going into Orcs. Our local player who is super fun to play against. He's just super down to earth, and he always goes to like local RTTs. But he's running the WA. All the boys, all the jump pack boys. Dude, wait till you see the pictures in this game. It was awesome. So this was the list. We played Orcs enough. I had never played them with Black Legion though. So this is the first Orc matchup against Black Legion. So it's definitely good to take some notes in this matchup, just because my boy Keeble hasn't beat Orcs yet with Black Legion because of fucking what they do. So I was scared going into it. I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do against Orcs. I play them enough with Grey Knights, so I kind of know what to look out for. But against Black Legion, I had no idea. So he ran a couple units of the Gretchen. He ran the character dude with the 2-up save. He ran this character guy that has the mortal wounds when he charges in. He had the weird boy. He had a bunch of the beast boys in the 2 big engines. I think they're in the next picture. Yeah, he had 2 of these things. And then he had the commandos, which are always awesome. He had 3 full units, or 3 units of the jump pack guys, the rocket dudes. And he had a big unit of the Terminator boys and the knobs. So he had knobs, Terminator boys, 2 beast boys, all the rockets, these guys, and a bunch of characters. And he had a truck. So he had these 2 big things and a truck. This was the deployment. So I turned my one vehicle or one building around, so that way I could kind of just walk through and then have a super wide lane to shoot, which would have been great if I had turn 1. I didn't have turn 1. So he put everybody on the line because that's what Orcs do. I set up my terrain as best as I possibly could. So you can't set up the terrain unless 4 inches, so that way he can fit his guys through. So he could barely fit his big base through this thing, which was fine because then he has to basically turn it which would have been like 1 or 2 inches, 6 or 7 inches past the thing, and then turn it again. So it would have been like an 8 or 9 inch charge to get through this little section right here, which is legal, totally legal. So he either had to run all the way around here, which I put a forest, and then crates, so that way he has to run around and get onto my objective. So player place, I have to pat myself on the back a little bit. So I did place pretty well. And then over here, I kind of should have sent these guys back, like not put them as far forward, because I'll tell you what happened. And then I put my cultists on the other side of the wall here, so he can't charge through the wall. He has to go over, because he's raptor, or he's flyer, so he can fly over. And then my legionnaires down here to kind of block out the charge over here. So terminators up front, because they have fight first, so hopefully I can get them into combat and then kill a bunch of orc guys. Abaddon pretty far forward, the cultists to block out, and then the legionnaires to block out, and then the possessed to block out 1 inch away from the wall over here. Everything else is in the back here. So bikes and all the characters are protected from the bikes in the back. So yeah, that was my deployment. That was his deployment. He gets turn 1. Auto advances 20 or 21 inches with all the fucking rockets. And this is the next screen. Ready? Yeah. So this is what it looks like after the wah, right? Turn 1. So everything kind of ran forward. All the guys ran forward. So he's basically running this way. He's running on the other side of the wall. He's running over here. Cast some powers. The truck runs up to here. The Terminators are waiting back. The commandos are over there. All right, so this is where he fucked up, which I didn't even think about. But with jump infantry, you can actually charge up to the second wall because you're fly. So you can just fly up to the second wall when you charge, and you can attack down, which, again, we didn't even think about it. So this guy's on the bottom floor. They're all 1 inch away. So he could have, instead of charge over me, he could have just hopped up to the top of the wall and then attacked through the wall. So that was the mistake, because he failed the charge. Like, I think he rolled a 6, so he couldn't get really anybody over on the other side. So then he re-rolled it, and I think he rolled like a 3. So if he would have kept the 6, he would have went, 3 up, 3 over, which would have successfully made the charge. But instead, he kept all the guys right there to kind of block. Everybody else charged. So this is at the end of the charge, turn 1. All these guys killed the cultists got shot off a little bit, so I left enough room for the guys to fit in between my Terminators and the wall. So they had a bunch of guys charge here, a bunch of guys charge here. I had 2 cultists left right up here. These guys again failed to charge. Abaddon he couldn't fit his base in between here. So that I probably could have measured that a little bit better. So this guy could have been back here, so that way he could have at least consolidated to kind of get in the fight. But everybody else is over there. These guys then made the combi charge into these 2 Legionnaire units. So he has charge, and then combi charge over here. So I was happy. He got 2 full units into my lines, which I fight first, so then I can kind of pile in and kill some shit. So this was after he killed, I think he left 1 Legionnaire here, 2 Legionnaires there. So he killed 4 Legionnaires and then 3 Legionnaires from that unit. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Terminators. So he was only able to kill 1 Terminator with that unit. And then I still had the 5 possessed up here. So it took out 2, 4, 6. I think I took out a bunch of red dudes over here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 guys left over here. So we pile it in with the Terminators to do some attacks into this unit and then some attacks into this unit. So when you pile in, you can pile in and attack other units that were in range. So we pile in, killed a bunch of guys over here, piled in, killed a bunch of guys over there. Okay, so now my turn. What the fuck am I going to do? I'm basically stuck in my deployment zone. So we move through the wall, right? So there are guys here. We moved, I think I finished off all but 2. So there were 2 guys on this side of the wall that lived. These guys are all dead. So we're able to spend 2 CP to fall back through the wall, right? So that way they can still shoot and charge. So Black Legion spent 2 CP, fall back through the wall. This guy came out to try and help out, a Legionary. This guy came out to try and help out. The 1 Legionnaire fell back over here. The other 2 Legionnaires fell back over here. So they kind of went like 1 inch up this way, 3 inches this way, and then 2 inches this way. And then Abaddon was right here to kind of help out and finish off these 2 units over here. So Abaddon hopefully can kill these 2 units. We had the bikes that scooted up and shot this guy. This guy has a fight last, which is really scary. And I made that guy my vendetta target. So full rerolls to wound against that target. And then the possessed, they moved up through the wall over here, and they were able to get a charge off on the commandos up here. So if you put his commandos more back, I think they would have lived. So they walked up, killed the commandos, took over that objective, and then piled into the bite or the truck over here. These guys blew up the one fucking vehicle right here, and then they charged what was left. So we charged these boys right here, and then this tank up here. Now again, I know he has the fight last, but I think I can survive these guys and this vehicle. All right, so I have illusionary up, I have +1 toughness and feel no pain and full rerolls. Abaddon charges, doesn't kill these guys, so they live. Charge, they don't all die. So at the end of my turn, I was able to kill the 2 trucks. I think the chain fist just murdered this vehicle. It was full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound. I think I had +1 strength, so I was able to wound on 3s. And he didn't get ramshackle, so it's just flat 3 damage with 2 chain fists. So that's why I like 2 chain fists in the list, because the one guy's 4 attacks, full rerolls. This guy's 3 attacks, full rerolls, and then wounding on 3s with full rerolls to wound. So that was good. We finished off all but 1 beast boy. We killed 2 of the big trucks, 2 of the big tanks, and then Abaddon's kind of still stuck in combat with these 4 guys, and we finished off these 2 red guys. So these guys also charged in and just whiffed on the charge of these dudes, because I had to chain them back to keep within 3 inches of my character, so my characters didn't die. And then this guy charged in, killed a couple of them, and then they fought back and killed one of my little chicks, as well as did some wounds to my guy. I took my wounds on my guy so that way I could still get illusionary off on a 2+. If they're both dead, it goes off on a 3+. So you can choose which one you're going to do the saves on, and I took 1 save 4 up invuln on this guy, finally died, and then I took I think 2 or 3 wounds on this guy and lived. Okay, so these guys are slowly crawling up to get to this objective. These guys are staying back. He still has his big Terminator brick back here. His character guys in the vehicle got out, or no, these guys were from the thing, so they got out. There's still knobs in here. So let's get into the next turn. So his Terminators moved up, charged my Terminator brick, and he wanted me to say this on camera, and he killed my fucking Terminators. So I didn't have enough CP. I think he left 1 alive, which I rolled not a 1. So that guy ran away. So he killed all but 1 guy, and then my 1 guy ran away from morale. I couldn't spend 2 CP to keep him around because I didn't have 2 CP. These guys moved up. I then created a guy, so I didn't have enough movement to get onto the objective. So I made a guy to get on the objective to get Long War to steal the objective. So that's a good little trick. Moved up, created a guy, got Long War. He still had both characters, which both charged my Terminators. So my Terminators basically lived to the last guy. All these guys attacked, and finally killed all but 1. So Abaddon then has to do all the work. So he's basically moving up, put all the buffs on Abaddon. The bikes finished off these guys over here. Last melee phase, this guy gated himself up to here. And he took one of the legionnaires that was next to him with him, and he was able to get on that objective back there and do dominions. So he got gated up here, put the guy within 6 inches over here, got dominions for me. Possessed moved up, finished off the guys that were left in the tank over there. He still has the guys in here that are the knobs. So the knobs are still in the truck. The truck has 1 wound left. And what else? These guys finally got over here to do get the good bits. They kept doing get the good bits up there. Weird boys chilling back. And this guy lived on 3 wounds. The illusionary guy lived on 3 wounds back here with his little book lady. So I did pretty well with this game with the bikes. Bikes are still alive, which is cool. And then Abaddon just fucking picked up all of the dudes. So like just exploding 6s, full rerolls to hit and wound on himself. rerolled all the wounds because he's strength 10, so wounding on 2s. I rerolled all of them, did more mortal wounds with the D3 mortal wounds on 6s. So Abaddon just said nope and just picked up everybody and then piled into the war boss right there. These guys, I think last turn did Dominions on the center objective. These guys got out of the truck, charged by Possessed. All of my my Combi Melta and these plasmas and bolters were closer to this character, so they actually nuked it to shooting. So they all hit on 2s because it's the closest character, and they wounded and just nuked that character off, so Abaddon didn't have to worry about him. Abaddon worried about all the Terminators that were left over here. Weird Boy moved out. These guys, again, are still getting good bits, but I was running my, you can see his base, my Veno Crawler was getting close. So he moved up 12, shot some of these guys, and then next turn would have moved up, moved up and then charged and finished off these guys on that, which would have got me Long War. So yeah, I was doing pretty well after turn 2. So finally at the end, we got 15 for Assassinate, killed all the characters. 15 for Long War, because we just kept taking the objectives over. Turn 1, I got 4, 3, 3, 3. Dominions, again, we just kept doing Dominions on every objective, 15, and then 45 for primary. So we definitely did very well after turn 1. We killed a bunch of stuff and then nuked both of the big trucks. 1 to shooting with the Meltas and then 1 to the charging. Even though we had to fight last, I was still able to get enough chain fists into it and just kill it to the melee. And then I took the brunt of the force. So they made up their points, the Terminators, by killing the 2 kill rigs and the guys inside. So that was a good point change. And they soaked up all the damage from all the Terminators. So then Abaddon was able to kind of come in and sweep them up. And then all the bikes kind of came in and help out with the shooting. So he got 26 for primary. He got 8 for get the good bits. Green Tide, he only got a 7. So he finished off Stomp him good. He didn't get any because I was able to kill more in the fight phase than he was. So we got 51 for primary and we got 98 for primary. All right, so that's our board Keeble. So we were the only 2 cuddle buddies that made it. We got a good little trophy, 3rd place. So we placed 3rd. I got a little mug too that said 3rd place on it. So yeah, so it was cool. Good time. TJ Lanigan won it. Didn't get to face him, but he played I think he played guard. Top table was him versus guard, which was Jesse, who made it to the top table again. And his Zinch list, which has Belcor and the big Zinch bird and a bunch of Zinch units, obviously killed guard because they have a 3-up save always. But yeah, so super fun turnout. Placed 3rd. We then got ranked 2nd in the world for Chaos Space Marines. There is a weird thing I should probably show you guys on ITC. Yeah, let me show you this. So on ITC, we got ranked. I gotta make myself smaller. So ITC, if you guys are wondering how to get there, you go to ITC 40k rankings. You search for your name at the top, and then when you click on your name, you can click on the army that you play. And then it will take you to that ranking of your specific army, so you can see where you're placing, whether it be global, USA, Canada, like all the countries. And then you can rank, like in the US, if you go northeast, like if you rank northeast United States, that's only United States Northeast, which we're ranked number 1. In USA, we're ranked 2nd or 3rd again. So I guess these guys are both in USA. Colin K, he's I just met him like the other day on Discord, but he is running Black Legion. I'm running Black Legion, but Matthew is running World Eaters. So I guess the World Eaters Codex counts for Chaos Space Marines, even though they have their own Codex. So that's what I don't get is he's Clutch City came in 4th. The Alamo GT came in 15th. Book, Star, and Art. So RTT, and RTT, he came in 1st place. Gene Stealer Cult were there. So the 4 World Eater things, he has 151, 173, 215 for a GT 4th place. That was really good. And then 182 for 15th place. So he actually took 1st with World Eaters for Chaos Space Marines. And then Colin K is number 2, and then we're number 3. We have Winter Ruin GT. I won that one for 204 points. Palladium, we won 1st, RTT, 181 points. And then Burke's GT, this is this one, we got 159 points. So even though it was a GT and we came in 3rd place, we only got 159 points because of the player output. There was only 28 players or something, five games. Alternate Universe is second, 6th. So I really need another. The Alternate Universe is fucking Jesse just gets hundreds on every game. So he's always, even though I'm 3-0, almost RTT, I'm still in 2nd place because of points. So if I can win this weekend's RTT, which is like 20 some players, I hopefully can then get enough points to get rid of one of these fucking 150 because it's the most points. So 204, 181, 159, 157. So if I can get more than 157 points, that'll get me, let's say I get 190. That's almost 40 more points I would be at. So 40 extra points will get me up to 740 points, which would put me in 1st place for Chaos Space Marines. So we got to see what we do this weekend. Hopefully we can get 1st place with Chaos Space Marines in the world. So let's go. So appreciate you guys. Hopefully you like these videos. I like doing them because I like taking pictures and then explaining what we're doing, where we're moving, all that stuff. If I can improve it, let me know in the comments below what you like, what you didn't like, what we can improve. Head over to Discord. Go check out Patreon if you guys want to support the Dirtbags. Go join the Dirtbag Nation on Patreon and Discord. And if you guys are into the competitive scene like these videos, you can join the competitive Patreon. And if you guys want to support, we are selling dice and stickers, which we just got 6 new sticker designs. Those are fucking cool. I'm going to sell a ton of those at the RTT and GTs coming up. And we got ACO coming up in about a month and a half. So if you guys are going to Atlantic City Open, definitely come up and say hi. It's really cool to see people live. I think I'm going to see one of my my Grandmasters there finally live. So we get to kind of chat and bullshit and play a game live. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for clicking on the video. Definitely go check out more videos on the channel and let me know what you want to see on Discord, especially before 10th edition coming up. So good luck and we'll see you in another video soon.